Today we are taking a look at the Bowers & Wilkins PX7 S2 active noise cancelling headphones. These are going to be a successor to the PX7s. I have been using these headphones now for a few weeks. Today in this video I will be narrating my experience with the PX7 S2. I'll be telling you all the good, the bad and everything else you need to take note of before you purchase these headphones. So without wasting time, let's begin. You can pick these headphones up in 3 color variants. So there is the grey, which I have here with me, which is a little bit on the white side. This is not like a deep grey, this is a very lightish grey. And then there is the black color, and then there is a very nice blue color which I can't get my hands on right now. For pricing, you are looking at around £379 or around $400. I will be throwing links in the description section for you all to check for the most up-to-date prices. Always bear in mind, technical specifications don't always translate into everyday use. So in the box you get a well-built hardshell carrying case which contains the headphones. Opening the hardshell carrying case, you get a USB-C to 3.5mm audio cable for wired listening. There is a USB-C cable for charging them up as well. These weigh around 307 grams, which is slightly lighter than the previous generation PX7s, which weighs around 320 grams. Coming to styling and comfort, I'll say these look a lot better than the PX7s. These look a lot more refined. I'll say the S2s fit better overall when compared to the PX7s, and you get a very good seal as well. The headband of the PX7 S2 feels a lot more robust when compared to the likes of the WH-1000X M5s. PX7 S2s have a softer earpads, and also the headbands feel a little bit softer as well. Earpads are made of very nice leather. It feels very soft. I would say the clamping force on these are slightly reduced. It's not as tight as that of the PX7s. Don't get me wrong, this still has a hard clamping force when compared to the likes of the XM5s. Although when I wore them initially, I had a little bit of discomfort on the lower parts of my jaws. They swivel slightly and they also rotate to an angle of 90 degrees, so you can place them on a flat surface, and you can also wear them around your neck and they'll rest comfortably on your chest. The headband is made of a combination of metal, leather and a woven fabric material at the top here. The ear cups is made of a combination of a metal plate and this woven fabric material and plastic as well. One thing I noticed about the design which I really like is the way the headband is now flush with the ear cups. Because on the previous generation PX7s, the headbands protruded out too much, so it made it look a little bit awkward. But on these, the headband is a little bit more flush with the ear cups, as you can see when looking at it from the side. One thing I don't like with the PX7 S2 is that the logo is not etched anymore, so it's not crested or etched on the metal plate. I don't know why manufacturers are now doing that. It doesn't really give it this premium look and feel when you have the logo written with paint as opposed to cresting it or etching it. So please, Bowers & Wilkins, Sony as well, please, you all should stop this. It doesn't scream premium at all. One thing to remember is that these don't fold up. In terms of buttons and controls, on the right ear cup, you have the power switch here, which also serves as your Bluetooth pairing button. And then underneath is where you have the volume rockers, and then there is also the play and pause button. And then underneath you have a USB-C port for charging the headphones up. And then that same port is also used for wired listening. There is no 3.5mm port on these headphones. And then on the left ear cup is where you have the button to toggle between active noise cancellation and the ambient mode. And one thing I must point out about the button layout of these headphones is that they are still difficult to master, because these buttons are really tiny and difficult to locate. I have been using them now for a few weeks and I'm still not used to them. When compared to most headphones, these has a broader frequency response range. It's between 10 Hz to 30 kHz. For connectivity, you are getting Bluetooth 5.2, and from my experience, there is almost zero latency across the board. These headphones support lots of codecs, such as the SBC, the AAC, aptX, aptX Adaptive, and you also have aptX HD as well. And bear in mind, you can also connect them to 2 devices at a time and switch between them. These have an advertised battery life of 30 hours, but from my usage I was getting around 26 hours with active noise cancellation turned on. I wish the battery life was a little bit more, as most premium headphones are ranging between 30 to 40 hours. Now coming to sound quality, one thing I have to praise the PX7 S2s for is its openness and the great instrument separation. That's what I really like about these headphones. You get very crisp and detailed highs. Stringed instruments and vocals sound fantastic on these headphones. So those who are into pop or classical music with lots of instrumentation will really appreciate these headphones. Vocals are kind of pushed forward, unlike the vocals on the AirPods Max, which is recessed a little bit. You get a pretty clean bass response, which is slightly boosted out of the box. For many who are already used to bass-heavy headphones, if you listen to this, it might sound neutral to you. But to me, I feel like out of the box, the bass is slightly boosted. I had to bring down the bass a notch to get a more balanced sound, and I also increased the treble just a little bit because the bass was creeping a little bit into the lower mids. I listened to it side by side with the AirPods Max, and I noticed that if you're listening to some music that the voices are echoed in the background, the S2 kind of extends the echo a little bit more than the AirPods Max. That's what I noticed. So you get wider, broader sound signature overall when compared to the AirPods Max. These get as loud as the AirPods Max, but I wouldn't say they're as loud as the Sony XM5s. One thing to take note of is that the sound quality gets a little bit narrow when you turn on active noise cancellation, so bear that in mind. So if you're not a bass head and you want headphones that give you great instrument separation and soundstage, these are the ones to get. These sound better than the Sonys. Active noise cancellation on these are pretty strong. They block out both high and low frequency sounds. They work pretty well. I'll say they are obviously not on par with what you get on the Sonys and the AirPods Max. But these are not far behind, don't get me wrong. They're pretty good, pretty strong. And I also like the ambient mode as well. It sounds pretty natural with very minimal hiss in the background. One thing to note about the active noise cancellation is that once you turn them on, there's a little bit of cabin pressure. It's not that much, but it's noticeable. You will hear it, especially when you are not listening to music. Call quality has been improved a lot from my experience here. The voices sound natural and it blocks out a lot of the background noise. But the thing I noticed is that I sounded a little bit too quiet for my liking. So anytime I make calls on these headphones, the person at the other end said I sounded a little bit too quiet. So they had to crank up their volume to like close to maximum to really hear me very clearly. These have an app, but locating the app is quite difficult because of the way it's titled. So bear that in mind. But once you locate the app and download it, you see it's pretty easy to use. You can turn on and turn off active noise cancellation and the ambient mode. You can also adjust the treble and the bass. You cannot adjust the mids. You can turn on and turn off the wear sensors. These have wear sensors, so once you take off the headphones, they will pause your music. But what I noticed is that the wear sensors on these don't really work that well. So if I just move my head suddenly sometimes when the wear sensors are turned on, it's going to randomly pause my music. I've tried to reduce the sensitivity on the app. Still, that does not solve that problem. I'm hoping maybe a software update might address that. For me, I'll say these overall are better in terms of sound quality than what you get on the XM5s. Although if you're a bass head, you are not going to like this. So for those who listen to music with lots of instrumentation, these are the ones to get. Well, I'll say Bowers & Wilkins did a pretty good job with these headphones. Great sound quality, good active noise cancellation, decent comfort, although it could be slightly better, but the comfort is much better than what you had on the PX7s. It's just that the controls can be a little bit, difficult to locate. As always, I will be throwing links in the description section for you all to purchase these headphones if you want. Feel free to check out other videos on the channel, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.